It's time to talk about something that's a little bit tricky. Warzone has been an enjoyable experience for the past year or so, and there's no denying that without it, many of us wouldn't have made it through the lockdown periods and everything going on in the world generally. It's been a good refresher, it's been something different, something new, and something that's kind of restored a little bit of faith into Call of Duty and to what they do. It hasn't been perfect, honestly, it's been a bumpy ride the entire way through, but I think it's time to admit that Warzone is not in a good place, and to me personally, I'm not really going to be playing much Warzone anymore. Now, I'm not going to outright say Warzone is dead. Warzone's always going to have a lot of players so long as there isn't really competition, and that's kind of why Warzone's been successful, because there has been no other cross-play, multiplayer, battle royale shooter to the degree of Warzone that has that kind of military feel to it. You've got Apex, you've got other games in the wing, but Warzone does what most people want, which is a hardcore shooter to some degree, or some kind of military-style shooter, or just something that makes a little bit more sense. I'm not saying Warzone is authentic or realistic, just something that feels grounded in some way or another. And I think a lot of us have been missing that. You know, PUBG is the closest thing really to that, and that hasn't exactly gone particularly well. And Warzone just sort of filled the void, not because it was necessarily special or anything, but because it was there, really. But right now, Warzone's just not worth playing. And until Vanguard, I don't think it will be, and even when Vanguard releases, it might take a couple of months for them to actually get the integration right. And it's been really frustrating, you know, I'm not saying that I'll never play Warzone again or you'll never see me on Warzone. You'll definitely see me on Warzone around the Vanguard release, but I just think at the moment the game's in a really bad way. The closest thing they've had to something that was an enjoyable competitive experience was Iron Trials, and that was a limited time mode, and that's really frustrating and really disappointing. The game is currently riddled and swarming with cheaters at the minute, and swarming in a very bad way, and there's not even a guarantee necessarily that Warzone's anti-cheat is actually going to be effective against the swaves of cheaters that they're up against. It's just sort of, yeah, we'll definitely fix it, but, you know, it's not signed and sealed, it's not a guarantee, it's not concrete that they are going to actively and proactively prevent cheating in Warzone, which is a free game. So yeah, it's been a little weird, and at the moment Season 5 and 6 have been purely filler content. It's been nothing special, nothing important. It's just been one long wait till Vanguard. And I guess this kind of underpins everything that's been wrong with Warzone. They weren't expecting Warzone to be successful, so they never planned for it. And because they never planned for it, we got a reskinned version of Verdansk. We've had really poor updates to the game in terms of balancing and quality of life. And the game just has been crawling, I think is the right word to use, into a good direction. It's never been sprinting, it's never been running, it's never been getting there easily and quickly. Seemingly, Warzone takes 5 steps forward, 10 steps back in a lot of the updates. Every single meta we've had has been pretty much a broken meta. The balancing has only recently gotten into a good state, considering that this has been out for a very, very long time, especially since the integration for Cold War. And the modes and the way that the game is working with things like dead silence, stopping power, and just things that don't make a lot of sense in an SBMM environment, it's really been a battle. It's honestly like there's half of Raven Software that wants to make this a super competitive and enjoyable experience, and there's half of Raven Software that goes, right, time to throw in a broken gun so we can make some money, sell some skins, and just leave the game as it is. And they don't really seem to care about the quality of the situation. Warzone is just an inherently frustrating piece of gameplay because you see the potential. You know that this game, at certain peaks and times, can be a really fun and enjoyable experience. But in between all of that, you've got broken metas, poor updates, bad weapon balancing, things that aren't working properly in the game, things that just break the game and make it completely unenjoyable, like dead silence and stopping power, attachments and stun grenades and things that just ultimately clash and create this really confusing game where it doesn't seem to understand if it wants to cater towards making a balanced and fun experience or cater towards doing really stupid things. And I just think that there's an identity crisis here with Warzone, there's an anti-cheat crisis and a cheater crisis in Warzone, and there's absolutely fundamentally a balancing crisis in Warzone. The time to kill has been a mess, stun grenades have been a mess, stopping power, dead silence and specialist bonus have been a mess, and they need to get these things under control. By Vanguard, Warzone needs a fully functioning anti-cheat, a full rebalance, and an integration that doesn't break all the weapons or deliberately make Vanguard's weapons inherently overpowered in order to sell the game or sell skins. And I just don't think they're capable of doing all of those three things. So you will see Warzone on this channel around the Vanguard integration. But until then, my focus is on World War III, Hell Let Loose, Squad, and of course Battlefield 2042. And as a Battlefield player and as a Battlefield fan, I think Battlefield is going to be the emphasis of a lot of what I do over the next year. Because unless Warzone can really pull its socks up and start doing things correctly, I don't think there's going to be much of an audience left for Warzone in the next year or so. And whatever is left is there just because they simply have nothing else to play, or they're not interested in other shooters. So folks, that's about it for this video today. I just wanted to explain why you haven't seen a lot of Warzone recently and why I haven't really been streaming it over on fb.gg/TheTacticalBrit. It's just not been an enjoyable experience. I don't think the game is heading in the right direction. But next week we got a Battlefield beta, and that's going to be absolutely insane. You're going to see a lot of content from that. You're going to see a lot of content at Battlefield over the next year, and you're going to see some more Warzone content if the game can get into a good place around the Vanguard integration. Or at the bare minimum, you'll definitely see me cover it if it definitely breaks. As always folks, thank you for watching. Leave a like, leave a sub, and I'll catch you in the next one.